Hello, good evening, and welcome to the FB4 Podcast for this Sunday night. What was meant to be a nice little chat around Nike and do you like the jersey, do you not like the jersey, has turned into a bit of a mad one tonight. We're going to go on about Nike, we're going to talk about FSG, we're going to talk about Peter Moore, and then all of a sudden, Joe Matip started turning up on Twitter. Not himself, but Joe Matip, the name Joe Matip started turning up. So it's all gone a bit mad on that one as well tonight. Please hit the share button. Please hit the like button. Subscribe. Do all that mess. And we've more details later on when you subscribe, how you can win a Liverpool jersey. And also we have a new Predictor game as well. With me, I have Seany, I have Grizz, and I have Keith. Seany's laughing away at something. There's something there in the chat, definitely, that he seems to like. Seany, do you want to share it with us?
David Wall said we need to hold on to Matip if Gomez is going into the number 10 role.
Okay, yeah, that was a classic as well. But listen, lads, I'm going to start off what we originally were going to start off with, and that, of course, was the Nike deal. Of course, Nike from, I think it was yesterday, midnight yesterday, officially became Liverpool's, shirt manufacturer, and I think the official launch is Tuesday the 4th. And Seany, I'm going to come to you first because I think you've watched most of this unfold on Twitter and have been scratching your head a little bit. But the reaction to a jersey or a series of jerseys, I have never seen anything before like it in my life. And I don't mean by it's sold out and you have to queue for 3 hours on the LFC online store. I mean, literally, they're breaking this down stitch by stitch.
Yeah, it's what Liverpool fans do, isn't it, Gav? Like, it's been the same for as long as I remember. Like, I remember as soon as any early leagues come out of the kit, someone would find holes to pick in it. And then as soon as they seen it on the players, then, oh no, it's actually nice. And then people talking about the price points and this and that. But look, we've been sort of lucky in a way with New Balance for a while because their pricing on kits never really fluctuates.
Yeah,
they've been cheap more or less because they are a smaller brand. Whereas if you are supporting, say for instance, Chelsea in the last couple of years, their home kits have always been that price. Their gear has always been this price. This is just part and parcel of being part of the Nike family now, so to speak. We are cream of the crop. We're arguably the best football team in the world at the moment. And Nike sports brand is the biggest in the world, hands down by a considerable amount. So this is another marriage made in heaven, and everyone's turned around pointing at we're only getting 25, 35 million up front off Nike. Liverpool went to court so this deal could go through.
Yeah.
This is a game changer for the club. This is a massive, massive game changer for the club, and everybody involved deserves a serious pat on the back for getting this done because
someone's got a bit more than a bit of a pat on the back for this. But we'll get onto that probably.
Like you wanted us to compete again and be at the top table, and now we literally have a football kit deal like no other. No other football team in the world is getting a percentage of complete merchandise sales from LFC or Nike. When all these saying, "Oh, we bought Pogba," or the shorts will pay for that. No, they don't. You get a flat fee up front off Adidas. Yeah. Barcelona get a flat fee up front off Adidas. Real Madrid get a Real Madrid get a flat fee up front off Adidas. Like, this is like no other. This is massive. This is groundbreaking. It doesn't matter what the kit looks like. It does not matter. This is all about the Benjamins.
It's all about the money. As someone once sang, I don't know who it was. I'm sure someone will tell me. Brickazen Tree says this is getting bonkers. Teal, blue, green. Where did it come from? Too much of a copy of others. Too much that. Too much this. We're the cream of the crop. Let's just enjoy it. Macker says the percentage of sales will make them a killing. The difference with this one for me, Macker, is, and Seany touches on United, and it was quite public, the deal with United and Adidas. Adidas basically promised them 75 million quid a year, providing they made Champions League and stuff like that. I think it dropped to about 40 million. But that was the flat fee. Anything they sold or any training gear, anything like that went to Adidas. You just got that flat fee. This is different. This is literally anything you find with the Liverpool crest on it and a Nike swoosh on it. Liverpool get 20%. That's it. And
Gav,
45 million. Yeah.
Madge Apple says there in the chat, 140 for the Vapor shirt is extortionate. 90 is more than enough. 107. Nike doesn't even supply women specific sizes. Nike have actually released a women specific kit. Yeah, it's a jersey for ladies only.
Yeah, it's they have every base covered here, lads. There's no doubt about it. They're gonna have every single, like, Vapor and stuff. Like, listen, I don't know, like the Vapor one looks like the thing, and it's a different feel to it and stuff like that. It doesn't make a difference to Mick running around the 5-a-side pitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether he's wearing Vapor or the other one for 70 quid. It's probably all a bit of a. It's a one-upmanship, I think, on each other. You know, I'm wearing the fucking Vapor one down the pub.
You never see anyone wearing the Vapor gear. Anyway, it's blatant skin tight. Sean, you might get away with it, but the other three of us wouldn't.
No, definitely not. Grizz would have a go.
Relax, will you? Relax.
But listen, it's a mega deal, Grizz. It is a mega deal, and you know, we discussed it at the time when the court case was going on and what it meant for Liverpool. But have you ever seen a reaction like this, Grizz? Because for all the giving out, and I've seen loads of it online, right? I've seen loads of it online. For all the giving out, it's sold out on the Nike website. It's sold out on the Liverpool website. I think within an hour or two yesterday. It's back online now for pre-order. But I genuinely, the only reason I know this is because Danny Emery won a jersey off us going back a couple of weeks ago. For what, I can't even remember now. But I actually went on to buy it for him this evening. And it was, you know, the jersey, add on the World Club Cup, add on the Champions badges, the name, the number on the back. And it was literally like, listen, you won't be getting this till the 24th of August. That's how much demand is on it.
Yeah, it's mad. It's... With the it not being available and it's selling out on the website and everything, that's all part of the strategy of Nike. There's no way, you know, they could not have supplied it forever and ever. That's an absolute strategy of theirs, just to show, like, wow, it's sold out on the first day. They knew exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. Look, the fact that we fucked off New Balance, after a very successful and a very lucrative for us, and I'm not going to lie, even though I'm not into sort of design of kits and whatever, because I'm way past it, but they made some of my favorite kits in terms of designs and color.
Cracking kits.
But the fact that we done the nasty on them, and we're known as a lovely club, LFC family, don't do nasties, right? But we done the nasty on them as soon as Nike offered us this contract. And it's so lucrative. It's very similar in terms of where we are as a club and where we're about to lift off in terms of on and off the field to Man United in the 2000s. So they were at a similar stage where they're about to dominate English football. But, you know, they didn't dominate Europe as they would have liked, but they were on the crest of like sort of domination. And who did they go with when they're on the crest of domination? Who came in for them? Nike. Same thing with us right now. Nike know what they're doing. Nike aren't the biggest sporting, brand out there for no reason. They know we are the biggest catch, and we've talked about it. We've talked about it in terms of how journalists mention us, how media mentions us, how TV, players mention us, all for clickbait purposes. We are the biggest catch out there. Nike knew we're the ones they want, and we want Nike. And this offer is mental. We haven't even started talking about the collaborations that are going to take place with some mega stars. All these figures and projected figures of XYZ are going to be blown out of the water. I'm 100% sure of that. COVID or no COVID. Go on, Sean.
Gav, look, this is what I love about this chat. All the points coming in, they're all brilliant. But Jono hits the nail on the head there. I'm in New Zealand, and I don't have to wait 5 years for the kit. Like, we went to Australia and sold out 100,000 seat at stadium not too long ago. New Balance couldn't even get kits today.
Yeah.
I have friends here who I worked with who are back in Brazil who now said they have access to Liverpool merchandise. Like, I agree with Grizz. New Balance made some cracking home kits down the line, but they completely flumped it last year. They dropped the ball. They would have probably been in with a chance of renewing at any money because they would have made the money. That goalkeeper's kit launched last year.
You couldn't get it.
You couldn't get it till Christmas.
You'd have been better off asking your ma to knit it for you.
Gab, you couldn't get it until Christmas.
Do you know what the big one for me is,
Sean? It cost them a fortune. We're dealing on a completely different level here. Nike are stratospheres ahead.
Yeah.
The rest bar probably Adidas, maybe
Adidas,
Puma.
Yeah. But the big thing for me is like, and the country I always look at is South Africa, because you couldn't access anything from New Balance in South Africa, right? Nothing. And what happens in South Africa, from what I can make out, is, say, Shawnee, you buy somebody a jersey for 60 quid in Ireland, and you send it via bleeding DHL to South Africa, and it costs you 30 quid. When it gets there, they tax you that again to get it into the country. Whereas now you will have people in South Africa walking down to their local bleeding shops and local sports shops, and Liverpool will be everywhere. And that's the biggest thing.
Another regular listener of ours, Santiago, same story here in Mexico. Impossible to get your hands on an LFC kit. We've just mentioned 2 countries there. What country did Sean mention?
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
South Africa.
New Zealand, Mexico, South Africa. We've just named 3 huge countries where we can only imagine how many Liverpool fans are there, or potential Liverpool fans are there, that you can't get hold of the kit. They will now have access to kits. This is fucking huge. We don't know it. Forget about the green and the Lille and whatever, and the crest and the Liverpool. Fuck all that. As long as we win matches, this kit, this deal will blow everyone out of the water.
Avi says San Francisco, New Balance have no Liverpool shorts on sale ever in San Francisco. And
this all come up in the court case. They asked him in the court case, what's the story? Like, you have stores in America. Yeah. Oh yeah, we only sell shoes there.
Yeah. It's I put it to you this way. Liverpool could land in San Francisco tomorrow and tell people they're playing a game on Wednesday, and you can pick the biggest stadium around, Liverpool will fill it. That's how it works. And Nike just have so much reach all over the world to go, wherever you want this, we will have it. Because at the end of the day, Nike are looking at Liverpool going, that liveaboard is going to make us a fortune. And Liverpool are looking at that swoosh and saying, that Nike swoosh is going to make us a fortune. And the only way to make it work is you have, supply over demand, not the other way around.
Wait till Drake and LeBron get involved. That's
exactly, Keith.
Really gonna blow.
Exactly, Keith. But think about it, right? We don't really. I only read a thing the other day about how big Minamino is in Japan.
Yeah.
Right? It's fucking mega. He's like them K-pop stars there.
Yeah.
In Japan. He's huge. He's massive. I was in Salzburg before Christmas, and the place was full of Japanese people. And I was saying, what's going on here? There was Asians everywhere, and they were saying they're here for Salzburg because the superstars playing for them. Japan now sending Nike jerseys into there. Minamino playing for us. It doesn't matter if he couldn't kick snow off or out for the duration of his contract.
Yeah.
Can someone tell Nike I'm just as big in Pakistan and India? So I'm.
Yeah, but Nike don't wear wicket-keepers gloves.
You're not laughing. So can someone get in touch with me from Nike, please? Because I'm just as big in Pakistan and India.
Yeah, could you imagine? Imagine Grizz in Pakistan with the jersey on going, no, not everyone knows me here.
The big unveiling, Serena Williams, Drake and Grizz.
Grizz comes out with one of those pods like, remember Villarreal with Santi Cazorla? Grizz comes out with one of those pods, and it's just fucking kebab sauce flying everywhere as it opens, and he's just standing there in the jersey. It'd be unbelievable. But lads, Keith, money aside and all that, they haven't done very well with the design. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, don't get me wrong, Liverpool go and win a league and a European Cup double. As I said the other day, I don't care if they're wearing Pat Butcher's fucking robe. You know what I mean? It doesn't bother me. But in fairness, looking at it without the money aside, they haven't done amazingly well with designing these 3 jerseys.
I don't know. I mean, the home kit, right? You can't do much with the home kit. You know, if you look at some of the other Nike kits that have come out, and you see Inter Milan's jersey, for example, isn't straight lines now, it's zigzags. The Spurs one is a mad one this season. It's got a mad design on it. Yeah, it's fucking awful.
Even Barcelona's one is horrible.
Yeah, the Barcelona home one is mad. It's like Crystal Palace. What can they do with Liverpool? They can do a red kit and a trim, and that's all you can do with it. You can't do too. Imagine they'd have done the design. Look, I'm wearing a New Balance training top. I don't know if you can see it on the sort of different shades of red that are going through it. if Nike done something like that with it, people would be up in bleeding arms. That's not original. You can't do too much with the Liverpool home kit. The away ones you can play about with them, but New Balance done some mad ones on Warrior as well. Like so,
people go on about these templates. Every single brand does it. Yeah. Every brand does it. That's what it is.
You're dead right.
But the beauty of Nike is they don't have to do anything. They can do what they want, how they want, and it will still sell by the millions, billions overall. This is the beauty. This is the pull of Nike. You know, we can talk about, look, I'm going to bring it back to food, but McDonald's can open up anywhere in the world, do you know what I mean? And sell whatever they need to sell and it will work every time. That's the magic of brands like Nike, etc., etc. We can talk about and criticize this. Gav, you're talking about sort of, you're nitpicking about a top and you're saying, I don't like it, but
no, it's okay. It's okay not to like it. I just think.
No, I get that. Yeah,
you're saying like you are saying there, you can't really do much with it. But in fairness, like if you look at New Balance's design over the last couple of years, I think their jerseys have been lovely for the vast majority of the time. They've been lovely. And somebody says there Nike will never change their template, but I would have liked to see a little bit more. Don't get me wrong, the away one is off the charts, mental, and I'm not against that. And I think the checkered one is really nice. I really like it. It's probably the one I would buy out of all three, to be perfectly honest, because it's a bit different. I just would have liked to see a slight bit more imagination in the red one. That's all I'm saying.
I think I like the throwback element to the green on the collar. Like people are saying, where's the green on the collar coming from? It's on the
95.
Crest. Yeah, it's on the crest though. If you look at
it's on
green,
the old crest as you look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's still the club. When you look up on the cup, like it doesn't have it has that crest on it. That's where it comes from. You know what I mean? Like that. Like
only top rides will know that though.
I think with the home kit, I think less is more is better with the like. I remember the first Warrior kit. I loved it. Yeah, just the gold with it. But I bought that and I wore it, and I was like wearing my granny's dishcloth around. The fucking the fabric was awful on it.
The fabric,
it was shy. It was completely shy, and even people don't notice this, but I'm a weirdo like this. If you look at the inside training this year, the players' training gear, the little white thing on the side of the training gear is all faded off all the players' training gear that they're wearing every day in training. Because contrary to belief, they don't have new training tops every single day. There's a laundry basket in Bleeding Melwood, like, and the quality was shy, and there was people giving out about New Balance last year with the peelings coming off of the sponsorship and the crest and stuff like that. That's not going to happen with Nike.
Yeah.
Even though it is probably it's probably made in a sweatshop for about 50p, but the fucking texture is going to be there. Like,
exactly.
Do you know what I mean? That's what you're getting. But
go on.
Like that's Patrick Boyle said there. Black market is going to be an issue, and then I was listening today to them talking about why Nike went with the route with this match day version and then the vapor version is to eradicate this. So because they want people to go big on the match day version because they know it's going to be really, really hard to replicate that in the black market. So people will be going around with really naff looking knockoffs, whereas you could go on to DH Gate 6 weeks ago and get a fucking this season's New Balance one, and there'd be literally no difference into the one that you're buying in the shop, if you get me.
Yeah.
It's one of those. Don't know once to know, are we turning into a business show now? No, we're just talking.
This is the Bloomberg hour. I don't know. This is the Bloomberg hour.
Tune in. We'll start lashing back points in a minute and throwing stuff at walls. Give it a minute and we'll be back to normality. But look, overall, you know, this kit launch is Tuesday. There'll be a lot more fanfare to that. Like you said, all the American lads will get involved then, and it'll just go absolutely mental. 160 people watching at the moment. Please hit the like button. We've been told it's really important, the like button. We thought it was just tell us you like us, but we were told it's really important. So if you can hit the like button, do so. If you're watching and you aren't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, and of course hit the bell icon, and every time before we go live you will be given a notification of that. I'm going to move on, lads, and I'm going to move on to, you know, as a little bit of a tangent from Nike to FSG, and there's been a bit of movement within the structure of the club this week. You know, Billy Hogan is taking over from Peter Moore, who's going back to America, and Grizz, I'm sad to see him go because, you know, people can say, what has he done, this, that, and the other. I think he's been very open in his job. He's been very approachable. I don't know how to put this. He's got down to a supporters level on more times than I've seen most directors do so. If you know what I'm trying to say, I just found him very approachable and very open. That's what I'm trying to say. What did you make of the man?
Yeah, but that's in my opinion, that's what his role was. That's why he was selected. That's why he was chosen. Of course, as well as his brain and his marketing brain and everything else, he's a genius in his own right. But I think he was. I want to use the kindest words possible, but I think that's why he was used, FSG, as a mouthpiece, as the link between the top men and the fans. Any decisions that went wrong or any sort of, because we have made a couple of errors, etc., especially the last one with the furlough. He was seen as the mouthpiece of FSG, sort of fronting up, and he done a brilliant job about it. Look, no one's perfect. No one makes zero errors in a tenureship in any form, on any level, in any business. But he done the best of his ability, and he's guided us in his tenure to the top. We are at the summit, so everyone involved in that process deserves a pat on the back. So yeah, from that aspect, we can only speak highly of Peter Moores. Comes across as a gentleman. Everything he said, everything he'd done was sort of as a Liverpool fan, and that's all you can expect. Not many chief executives are fans of the clubs they work for. So, from that aspect, it was a dream come true from him. Was it a shock that he's not been given a new contract? Not entirely to me. The chap that's taken his place, Billy Hogan, is the man when it came to sort of getting this contract of Nike. So we were talking about, pats on the back. Well, he deserves it. He's got a massive pat on the back and been given a nice little role now. Been reading up on him loads. Not enough to do a whole podcast on it yet, but we will come to it. He's a genius. The man's an absolute genius. Again, FSG don't make decisions just willy-nilly. These kind of decisions are deeply thought about, and loads of sort of research is done into them, and sort of projections, and who are we to argue with their decisions? As kind of sort of sad it is to see Peter Moores go, and the connection, and as a Liverpool fan, his social media antics, etc., we're going to miss all that. We won't have that. My slight worry is with the new chat, we're not going to have that communication. They will have to get someone else in to get that sort of communication going on. Maybe they don't. Maybe it's all about winning, and who cares when you're winning, right? But to get to that level, Peter Moores was necessary. So fair play to him.
Seany, coming to you, as I said, Grizz is an admirer of Peter Moore. I'm an admirer of Peter Moore. What did you make of him, Seany? And Avi says there, because Billy Hogan is coming in to replace him and moving up the line, I suppose. But he says he's going to make us the biggest club in the world. The astute signing of Scammell from United is going to put us on an elite level. They've seemed to. There's talk there, Seany, that he goes home because of his family reasons. He wants to go back to his kids and stuff like that. But Liverpool seem to have reacted well and kind of doubled down on top of it, haven't they? With this appointment of the former executive Scammell from United.
Yeah, it's like, to be honest with you, Gav, I don't feel like I love Liverpool, I love football as much as the next, but I don't really feel like I'm qualified to give a detailed opinion about this, because it's not something that I pay too much attention about. What I do know about Peter Moore was that he was one of us in a sense, and that's always good for fans. Like, there's a sort of endearment between the club and the fans. If a fella who was chief executive used to stand on the cop with his old lad when he was a young fella, so it was kind of always that connection. Like you said, as like someone said in the chat there, a perfect conduit between the fans and the club, and that's what Peter Moore was. And look, it was a masterstroke from FSG to even get him, because not many people might know. Peter Moore is one of the brainchilds of FIFA Ultimate Team, which is the biggest earner in the video game industry. It's literally, he created a billion dollar industry. So they knew what they were doing when they got him in. It was the perfect match. And it was a bit of a shock to see him go. But these all seem like calculated moves from FSG. Like, this is what they are. They're the sports investment group. They know exactly what they're doing. It's chess to them. The rest are playing checkers. They're playing chess. They're moving pieces now for us to even kick on and go on to the next level. So this is why they're bringing someone like Scammell from United, who, let's be honest, United haven't done an awful lot well on the pitch in the last decade or so, but off the pitch has actually allowed them to still go out and have windows where they throw around 100 million quid and bring in big players like that. So this is FSG laying down the foundations for the next step, because every year since Klopp's come in, there's been an evolution in the squad. This year, it seems like it's going to be more deep-rooted evolution in the club. You see Nike coming in, like we talked about, and this FSG have more or less, in a sense, promoted Billy Hogan, and they've brought in another fella who was an expert in his field. So this, again, just shows that it's another step of the evolution of Liverpool under FSG. And this FSG kind of get hit from other angles, and I understand. I can see, if I'm being devil's advocate, I can see why people are annoyed at that strategy. But when people say trust the process, we were bought by them 10 years ago in October for 300 million. We are 350 million in debt, and club was operating, I think, at 55 million a year loss. We were hemorrhaging money. We were going into administration. That's how bad it was. Right?
Yeah, go on.
And you fucking bastard. And we were going into administration, and they come in, and we're valued closer now to 3 billion.
Yeah.
So just sometimes I was going to come on and have a dig at FSG, but then sometimes you just think, yeah, you're going to end up looking like a fucking idiot. They have turned us into a behemoth on and off the pitch. And this is cutthroat shit. That's what it was with Peter Moore. There was a few gaps with Fairlow. He took the hit or whatever, but it's just cutthroat. And this is the way it is at this level of business. And look, Peter Moore, thanks very much, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, I'm afraid.
Yeah, you might wonder why we're laughing. Precaution tree.
I've seen it.
Weird tiara Sean's wearing. It's perfectly over your head.
Like something out of The Sims.
Yeah. Justin Mayfield says, I'm new to this channel, but hope you guys are well. Where do you see us finishing next season? You're very welcome, Justin. Top of the league.
Champions of everything.
Yeah, we're winning.
Well, tell him we're going to do the official predictions. When are we
the official predictions are going to change. This season, we've a slight change to format, and we have something for everybody to get involved, not just the day trippers. Absolutely everybody on this planet has an absolute right to join our prediction little thing we're doing for this season, which we will reveal, and we will start tonight. So if you are watching, stay with us, because you need to stay with us in order to enter. I'll put it to you that way. And it's going to be very simple the way we do it, but we'll explain a little bit more as in about a half an hour's time. Keith, the lads have covered Peter Moore really well, Billy Hogan and stuff like that. Where, and this appointment of Scammell, I think he was an ex-United director. Yeah. They didn't take him direct. I think he was an ex-United director. But they have a big job on their hands, don't they? Because, you have got the COVID, you have the pandemic, all that. You have got a really popular guy in Peter Moore leaving. And although Billy Hogan, people are saying he's a genius, he's the man behind this, the man behind that, he was kind of a little bit of a background figure. He wasn't out front and centre. Now he kind of will have to be. And it's a big job, isn't it? Because while you're riding the crest of a wave as winning the Champions League, all these trophies and leagues and stuff like that, people want more. And when they see a change, they'll point to fucking anything if it goes wrong. Yeah,
they will. And look, Billy Hogan hasn't been front and centre, but he has been very active in the background for a few years now. And as the lads touched on, he was behind pushing the Nike deal through. And that is going to turn this club into absolute global giants. We already are in a football sense, but in a marketing sense now, and it's all going to be down to the likes of Billy Hogan for pushing that. It's something that FSG get a lot of stick, and I'm well documented in saying I'm a fan of FSG as much as I can be a fan of any ownership group. I think it's silly that people get too invested in it myself, but people think FSG are lucky that they have Klopp. Well, as business venture capitalists or whatever they are, right, they take risks, they make money, they turn failing assets into absolute gold mines, and you don't do that by not being successful, on the field. You've done it with the Red Sox, they're doing it with us. They're making these moves to put us in the best position commercially, let's be honest, commercially, and they're giving Klopp the keys to the football side of it. Now, look, we can all get hung up on what will happen transfer-wise. I think they take hits on things like the furlough thing. I think stung them deep and might be impacting on why they're maybe not as active in the transfer market this summer. But they seem to learn and look at ways to be clever in everything they do, and not just the football side, the business side of it. Billy Hogan will be an absolutely astute signing, but will he be as vocal as Peter Moore? No, he won't be, because, as Shawnee said, Peter Moore was as a connection to the fans. That's a shrewd move by FSG to put him in there in the first place. They knew what they were doing. I don't know if he's being thrown to the lamb to the slaughter like Grizz might think he is, Peter Moore. I think, we had a 3-year thing. He came from America. It was a coup to get him over. It probably was just a natural course that it's seen to the end. But I don't worry about how Liverpool are operating, because, as you said, Gav, or Shawnee, it was 10 years ago, and we're on our arse. Do you know what I mean? And what they've done to what are we, fourth in the rich list of football clubs, but we're chasing United down. We're going to overtake them the way we're going. Success will breed money. Their failure will, they'll get Champions League money or whatever this season, but they're not winning trophies, and that's going to be even more crippling. We're going to overtake them if we keep on this path. So we're turning into a behemoth. As we said earlier, the Nike brand, the Nike athletes, the Nike, the Serena Williams, the Drakes, the LeBrons, they get into this. This is going to put Liverpool into a different stratosphere. It's really going to, and it's all down to astute moves by Billy Hogan, especially, to get in. Now, who knows what's going to happen? As I said, too many people worry about boardroom stuff that they know nothing about, and we know nothing about, and we can talk about it and we can give our opinion, but too many people get hung up on it. Let's just see what happens. This is a great period for Liverpool, and people are talking about dark days and all I see on Twitter, things to lift the mood of the fans and shit like that. We've just won the league, and people are worrying about boardroom decisions.
Yeah, it's a break, lads, from football. We'll follow. We're going to follow it as best we can for the next.
It's just part and parcel of this new social media, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about dominant teams and dominant clubs of the last 20, 30 years. How many executives do we remember, or whatever the names were? We don't remember none of them. It's just the way of the world now, isn't it? Every aspect of a club's network is scrutinized. People are looking for flaws, holes, gaps, anything you want, just to criticize or get something. In terms of, for example, the Man City scenario, sort of something that you can do them for type thing. You're right. So it is what it is. It's part and parcel of social media. Maybe. You're right. Billy Hogan is going to be totally different to how he operates compared to Peter Moore's. But maybe this is what FSG want. Maybe FSG wants.
I've seen a great point about Nike, actually, just before I move on. I was reading up a bit about it. I was on Sports Ramble. The end game for Nike and FSG with Liverpool is, do you ever see the Yankees logo?
Yeah.
They want the Liver boards to be in the same category as that in a couple of years down the line,
where people are just wandering around the street with randomly on
wearing it, a fella made a point saying that 90% of the people that they surveyed had worn in their lifetime either a t-shirt, a cap, or a piece of branding with the Yankees logo on it. Probably didn't even know who it was. Probably didn't even know who it was. Just that's the level that they want to take us to.
I used to have a New York Yankees baseball, so those tops.
Is that from the time you went on trial?
But I looked grand at them because I used to have big massive, huge biceps those days. That's why the reason I bought it. But
shredded Grizz.
Yeah. But the fact that it was the New York Yankees sticks out like all of them. I remember it all makes sense now. As a teenager, when I was growing up, I used to have the New York Yankees cap. Didn't have a clue that was, but it was worldwide.
You couldn't tell anyone who played quarterback for them.
I like that, but too sharp for that. But do you get my? But it's true. Now it all makes sense. What Sean is saying, about how they want us to be portrayed around the world. It all makes sense now. Yeah, and this is the next generation. We're talking not the Liverpool fans of today. These guys are thinking 10 years, 7, 8 years ahead of the Liverpool fans tomorrow, of the future. That's how deep their thinking is.
Xander187 says some really good measured opinions on here and in the chat. You've got a sub from me. You never walk alone. Very, very welcome, Xander. And he, of course, is helping us towards our target of 3,000 subscribers. And that 3K means something. We'll talk about that in a bit as well. I just want to say congratulations to Arsenal Football Club on winning the FA Cup, beating Chelsea at Wembley today, and of course Frank Lampard's biggest moment of the season turned out to be shouting at the bench at Anfield, which makes me very, very happy. Moving on, I was just getting ready to do this show tonight, and then you three boys there piling in with talks of Joe Matip. Grizz, I'll stick with you. Joe Matip, what's going on here?
Well, the reason why we wanted to discuss it, I thought it was brilliant segues into sort of, I knew we're going to be we're going to be, well, what's happened now? What have you?
Kieran Torrance says, Jerry and the Pacemakers featuring Drake, You'll Never Walk Alone remix.
It's all happening, I'm telling you. The potential is huge.
If someone doesn't go out and make that happen online, it's a massive missed opportunity.
We're running a competition for 3K subs, but if someone tags me in a Drake You'll Never Walk Alone remix, I'll personally buy a jersey myself. I swear on my life.
Yeah, that is amazing.
But we were talking about sort of, I think Sean mentioned about this cutthroat Liverpool, we're being that, how we're running. And we're doing it off the pitch. And that's why I thought, with all these rumours of players that are sort of getting to their 30s now, right? Not always available. FSG bought this fella for free. It was a free transfer, wasn't he, Keith? I'm sure he was.
He was,
It was a free transfer. This is the kind of... this is intriguing for me. That's why I thought we should bring it up today, because there will be interest in Liverpool players now. There will be interest in Liverpool players that haven't played as much as the players themselves might have liked, and I think Matip may come under that category. He's recently got married. Maybe the appeal of Paris, him and his wife settling down, his last big move, maybe it will appeal to him. But what I wanted to sort of have a chat about, debate about, was, will FSG be as cutthroat on the pitch in terms of contracts, players staying, going, selling them when we have to? Because as we've touched on before, we haven't discussed it before. This is where Alex Ferguson and United were the kings at, knowing when to cut off their ties with certain players. Matip's everyone's favourite. I think the majority, all of us actually, would say Matip is a very good player. Probably, at this stage, probably Virgil's best partner. You could argue Gomez, but you know what I mean? He's done an amazing job for us. But are we and FSG, more importantly, because they make the decisions? Going back to Peter Moore's, that's what I meant about scapegoat kind of thing, front, Keith. I don't think he had much say in anything. This new chap will. That's what I meant. So going back to now, with FSG, will they sort of take the money? So let's say PSG, who are apparently interested, offer 25, 30 million for a 30-year-old who doesn't play much. These are the kind of decisions that intrigue me now. And I just wanted to see what everyone's opinions was as well in terms of, are we going to be cutthroat? Because we've got to go back and look at the best examples of recent times. And Man United they rebuilt that team many a time, but 3 times he rebuilt the team that I can remember. We've done amazing. We've peaked. Can we get another season out? When do we start our rebuild? When do we start sort of getting ruthless on the pitch?
Do you know what? Before I come to the lads, I know exactly where you're coming from here. do we start? Does the rebuild start now? Because like if you let Lovren go for 11, and if you do let Matip go, and you said to me, what do you value Matt? Well, I'll put it to you this way: if you're valuing John Stones at 30 million, Joe Matip is 30 million. That's the way I look at it. If Nathan Ake is 41 million, you could argue Joe Matip's worth it, because what's Joe Matip done in his career compared to Nathan Ake? And I think you've a fair enough argument to say, well, he's worth 40. At least. I think it's too early. I think it's too early to be talking about a rebuild, Grizz. But and I don't know what the lads think, and I'll come to Keith first in it. Keith, do you see them letting Joe Matip go in the same summer that they let Dejan Lovren go? And I'm asking that question because with them two gone, you can't bring in a fourth choice. You have to go for a bit of a worldie, in my opinion.
It's a hard one. I mean, it's all down to Klopp, really, isn't it? If Klopp wants him to go or keep him, that's what it'll come down to. It won't be a case of, think, of FSG cashing in on Matip if Klopp was against it. I think Klopp would have to be on board with that. But one thing that was mentioned there by Grizz is the availability of your players. And the players that we've let go so far this summer, right, Klein, Lallana and Degsy, huge issues about being available. Lovren never played 6 games in a row for us. Lallana has probably played so many 3% of games in the last 3 years, something ridiculous. And Klein hasn't been seen for years. And it cleared the wage bill. Now, Matip is of the similar ilk. He gets a knock and he seems to be out for a while. Can I see it happening? Yeah, I can. To be honest, I could see, because I said on a pod a while ago that I thought this was the summer Liverpool Klopp was going to break up the team. And I thought Genie would go as well. I thought he was going to look at getting younger players in. I wouldn't be surprised if they sold him, and I don't think they'd bring in a worldie. I think they'd look to push for Ben White and maybe a Mandy off Betis as a cheaper option for 4 of them. I think they'll put in the Grizz might know €10 million or something bid for him.
I had an idea in my head. For me, a perfect scenario would be, obviously, Ben White appears to be the number one choice from what you read, from what we gather. If you were to get, say, look, let's be realistic, right? If we had to get 25-30 million for Matip and you knew you were getting Ben White, I'd do it. But then you do need someone of experience. And I've sort of been banging the drum a little bit. I'd give Vertonghen a contract for a year or two. That's what I'd do.
Especially because he's left-sided.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think his best games at Spurs were at left-back, believe it or not. Yeah, I genuinely believe that. And
early in last season, he was being deployed as, let me tell you, a fucking mobile left-back. He was a very good outlet for them. Vertonghen would be, if we're going to sell Matip, we do need experience, because you couldn't be going into a season where Virgil, Gomez, for example, Ben White, and then promoting Keanu Hoover, because
I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you why this do. Sorry, go on. Sorry, Sean.
If you were to end up happening to Virgil, you'd be skirting the edges of a season with somebody who has not got top level experience, like a Matip.
What about Fabinho?
No, I wouldn't want to move him from there.
No, Fabinho's too good in midfield I wouldn't take him out, because what he gives you in midfield.
Oh yeah, I agree.
But lads, the reason, let me pitch this to you guys, and I want your valued opinions. Right, the reason why this intrigued me, and we had quite a good chat between us just before we went live. Matip is 29 now, 30 next year, right? And he hasn't completed a season since he's been here without significant times out. Right, significant games. I mean, he's had he's not as bad as Degsy, but it's been pretty bad. I mean, I don't know the exact numbers, right? Now, let's say Ben White is, and I firmly believe is the number one priority centre back, but he wants assurances. I was telling Shawnee, I remember, he wants assurances that he wants to play, because he's just completed the season of his life. So when a young player experiences that season of his life, he doesn't want to become fourth choice. right?
Yeah, but I'm sorry, but Ben White. I'm sorry, I don't care about who Ben White is. He's not walking into Liverpool and saying, "I want to play first team football."
I'm not talking about. Let me finish. Let me give you the rest of the context. Let me give you the rest of the context. I don't know how many games Matip plays a season, right? But if we could, and I personally would, and I know many will disagree. The difficulty is we've just sold Lovren, and I totally understand the experience side. It doesn't make sense to push. But I think Matip would be open to this move. It's not about FSG selling. It's not about Klopp wanting to go, because Klopp will definitely not want him to go. But Klopp also is one of the best man managers out there. And if Matip went to him and said, look, I want to go somewhere else. I've just got married. I want to experience something else, clean sweep, clean break. I don't think Klopp would stand in his way. FSG definitely would have. I don't think Klopp would stand in his way. I think it could be a double-edged sword in our favour in terms of if we get 25, 30 million from Matip, and then we can assure Ben White that you will get significant minutes. Because you're right, Gav, absolutely.
Ben White doesn't get... I tell you, Ben White only gets significant minutes at Liverpool if Joe Gomez ends up injured for a period of time. I'm telling you.
Agree with that.
I'm telling you, there's not a fucking chance.
He's going to swap them out. Ben White will be as good as Joe Gomez. You hear me saying it here? Yeah,
you will be, but he's not.
Yeah, but Gav.
We aren't playing this game anymore. We're playing a game where we are ruthlessly looking for trophies. We're not playing games of a fella that's played a championship season and he will be as good as somebody. We can't do that anymore.
And I tell you, we've just experienced them getting rid of New Balance, right? Getting rid of the likes of Lovren, who everyone thought are brilliant. Lallana, no new contract, whatever. All these players have been put up for sale. I'm telling you now. We're going to be very ruthless in the market, buying and selling. And I'm telling you, it's not about Ben White walking to the team. I'm not saying that. No one is suggesting that, Gav. But the way forward is always to know when it's to sell the player's peak or the downturn of his peak. And I'm suggesting that Matip won't get any better. He will get worse with injuries and form, etc., and age.
I don't know of any Liverpool player that's signed for Liverpool but with guarantees that he play football. And I don't think Klopp plays that game. Ben White may want, if Ben White is the man you're looking for, he may want first team football, but he's not walking into Liverpool as league winners and saying, I want first team football or I'm not playing.
No one's saying that,
happen.
Gav.
Well, apparently people are.
We don't even know if Ben White is saying that for fuck's sake.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's just people are saying he would be looking for first team football. That my argument against it is, well, if he is, he might want to go somewhere else. Because he's not playing for fucking Leeds United anymore. He'd be playing for Liverpool Football Club, and they are stratospheres away from each other. But what I would say on Matip is, I don't know. I can't see him doing both of them in the summer. Having said that, like Shawnee said to us earlier, a big money in fucking, and he's actually all said it to me in the WhatsApp group, a big number, and it makes you think, because Grizz, we spoke on Thursday on the Transfer Agenda show about centre backs, and quite a few that we mentioned were on Liverpool's radar before the pandemic came along. It may give Liverpool an opportunity to reassess and say, hold on, we wanted player A, Diego Carlos, I think is one player being mentioned there, right? 40, 50 million quid. We've now got 40 odd million of that 50. We can stretch 10 and get him, and we can bring Keanu Hoover in, make him fourth choice, because fourth choice doesn't fucking play. Let's be honest about it, right? And then you can say, but we will bring Keanu Hoover into the squad, and we will put him in, and when we're beating teams 3 and 4-0, we'll drop him in for 10 and 15 as we go on. That could be something. Does anybody think that might be a goer?
No.
You don't?
They're not going to spend 65 million on a centre back no matter what they get in.
No.
That's his boy out. That's his boy out.
So
65 million pound.
Yeah, so Shawnee,
£million.
Well, see, you don't have to pay. You don't have to buy. You don't have to pay the buyout. You can go with 50 and go, I'll give you 50.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I think you get less than that. But you get a lot less than the COVID.
Boys, I'm telling you now, if Ben White stays fit, he's going to be England's best centre back.
Okay, that's fair
enough. Him and Joe Gomez are going to be England's 1 and 2. This is what we have here. This is what we can have. He's dipping great. You said, Gav, he's only played a season in the Championship. Leeds were fucking pissed. They sold their best centre back to Brentford, right? Your man Janssen was their best centre back, and they took a punt on Ben White And he's the reason why that Premier League. He's the reason why they won the league.
That's absolutely fine. My only argument is Ben White and nobody walks in here and tells me that they want to play football for Liverpool.
I love that though. I love that. What? Look, something stuck out to me.
I've no problem with the confidence, Shawnee.
Something stuck out to me the night after we won the league. The night we won the league, City Chelsea. Remember Phil Thompson was out his back garden, big lovely swimming pool.
Yeah.
The Sky started their agenda straight away. Where the Liverpool go from here? Can they retain it? Phil Thompson made a fucking brilliant point saying we were at the winning the European Cup and the league, and we came back the following season thinking, oh, it's all rosy. And Alan Hansen showed up in training. All of a sudden, I couldn't even have a bad training session or I was out of the team. Ben White goes in there first day of pre-season. Joe Gomez is thinking to himself, oh, well, what the fuck? What's going on here? If he's not on it, he's out of the team. This is what Grizz says. This is like going from New Balance to Nike. Going from Lovren and Matip to the likes of Ben White is like going from New Balance to Nike. When you have someone, you're in there. If you're not on it, you're out. It's as simple as that.
Sorry, Chris. I just want to ask Shawnee one thing because he's disagreed with the scenario I've given him. Shawnee, if we sell Joe Matip for 25 to 30 million quid, right?
Yeah.
We're basically down to Joe Gomez and Virgil van Dijk as first team centre halves. Now I'm all for putting Keanu Hoover in there. People think he's not big enough. Listen, that's all a load of shite.
If
you're good enough, you play.
Yeah.
You're good
and
enough, you play.
Or 6'1" or something.
Well, if you're good, he's absolutely fine, right? But Shawnee, we get 25 to 30 million on Matip. All right, we've 11 million off Lovren, and we're left with them two. What would you do?
I'd buy Ben White. I'd buy Ben White. Yeah, I'd buy Ben. I wouldn't give 65 million for your man.
How much you paying for Ben White?
If you're paying that money, you'd go for Koulibaly.
I think Brighton have said they want 35 to 40 million for Ben White out straight. They've named that price.
30 gets him easy. Absolutely gets him.
They will.
Brighton are broke.
Because they're broke. And that building as well. Brighton are looking to do a little bit of a rebuild on the squad as well. And
listen, we have to remember. Listen, when we talk about Ben White coming from Leeds, Gav, I think that point is a bit void because where did Matip and Gomez come from? Was it Charlton and Schalke? Schalke were struggling. Yeah, Schalke. Come on. We would have said the same thing then. They can't walk into our team. Now we're talking about them as.
But Joe Gomez didn't. We're seeing the best of Joe Gomez 5 years after he arrived at the club.
Yeah, but we're talking about different levels. Matip came straight into the team, near enough.
What are we talking about with different levels?
We're talking about Robertson levels as well, coming into the team and walking into the team sort of after a little while. Who doesn't matter if Matt White
didn't walk into the team after a little while, but they didn't walk into.
None of us.
Gav, what I'm saying to you,
I can't speak for anyone else. I'm not saying White's.
Gav, you're saying with assurance that Ben White doesn't walk into this team.
No,
you can't say that.
That's not what I said. What I said was. Ben White.
You turned around and said there's nobody coming in here and walking into the team.
I said nobody is coming to this club and demanding that they're in the first team. That's what I said. I never said they're coming in and walking in. Hold on a minute. Look, go back to Mo Salah when Mo Salah was signing for Liverpool and people said, oh, he'd be great back up to Mane and all. And people, did you think Mo Salah was coming in and demanding it? No. He came in and probably thought he could do it. And his performances in training and stuff was a demand on Jurgen Klopp. All I'm trying to say is...
Let me give Mo
Salah came in and took Bobby's jersey number.
Yeah, but no player is walking into this club and going, there's probably two on the planet.
Cap, can I give you an example of hypothetical scenario? He's not linked, and before everyone else says anything, if Gilberto Silva comes to Liverpool, are you telling me he doesn't walk into this team and demands it? And you're going to stand there?
Who? He's about
Gilberto
50.
Silva. Sorry, PSG captain. Thiago Silva. You're telling me Thiago Silva doesn't go into, if he's coming to Liverpool, he doesn't walk into the team? Of course he does. That's how it works. It improves the level. There's nothing wrong with ambition.
Do you think Jurgen Klopp signs Thiago Silva?
No, I'm giving you a hypothetical example.
I think it's an unrealistic one.
I just want to answer Dave.
You said no one.
Dave Hornby's in the comments there talking about Conor Cody. Conor Cody's playing the back three. If you're a good centre half, you don't play in the back three. I wouldn't go near Conor Cody. As soon as he came to Liverpool and had to play into a back two, he'd be found out straight away. Good player, lovely on the ball, but he's perfect systematic player for Wolves. He's quite out for Liverpool.
Listen, just getting back to Ben White for a second. The point I'm trying to make is Ben White can walk into Liverpool Football Club and believe he's the business and show he's the business and by doing so, he would demand a place in a team. What I'm saying is, Klopp, I don't think stands for anybody turning and go, well, I'm coming and I'm fucking playing. You know, that kind of way. I don't think that's the way it goes. There's a meritocracy within Liverpool's squad, and that's what actually fuels them. Everyone knows they have an equal chance again in his team if they perform. Now, I don't know Ben White. I've not seen a hell of a lot of Ben White. But if Seany tells me that Ben White is going to be the best thing centre half alongside Joe Gomez in 2 to 3 years' time, I'll absolutely take that. And if you tell me that he's going to be 25 million and he's going to, fight with Joe Gomez to play beside Virgil van Dijk, I'm absolutely all over it as well. But I still think it's a big risk to lose Matip and Lovren in the same summer. That's all.
Yeah, I agree. And
agree
Gav,
with
like
that.
I said before the show, like if you do lose Lovren and Matip, like you're sort of in the phase of a rebuild without even knowing it. Like this is supposed to be a summer where we spend
on a shortened summer.
Yeah. Like this is like this is supposed to be a summer where we don't really spend money. Like, you know what I mean? I do get it. I think that there's a lot like this is based off something that came out of fucking 10 Sport tonight in France that we're having this discussion about Matip. Look, if you had to put it to me, and you said to me, look, Genie stays, Matip stays, we sign a backup left back, we sign another choice centre back, and we sign an attacking player. I think that's the best route to go here because you can't be banging on for years banging on for years about the importance of keeping a squad together, and then all of a sudden look to pull it apart as soon as offers are coming in.
But is it not a natural time to nearly break it up? This was my thinking on it. The injury-prone players and the older players.
100% in a world without COVID, where you have a full where you have a full summer.
But if the opportunity knocks, do you know what I mean? If PSG do, and look, we don't know if PSG are going to make an offer for him, but if PSG knocked in and said, look, 40 million, give us Joe Matip, you have to sit and think, right, Joe Matip and Dejan Lovren, you don't want to maybe lose both of them together, but they're never as reliable. And if you get Ben White, let's say, in there, people talk about Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva would demand, he'd be a highest earner probably, even though his age, he'd be looking for top freight. So Ben White, even for a fee and whatever the wages it'd be over the length of the contract, it wouldn't be that big a deal. That's the sort of deal FSG be all over. People in the chat there, and I love the chats hopping tonight, mentioning like Koulibaly, Romagnoli got mentioned, Skriniar got mentioned. Like they're not going to be. We're not going to be getting those type of players. It's not the way we operate. It's going to be a Ben White. It's going to be a Yaman.
Who said Ben White has zero pace? Are you smoking heavy drugs, man? He's fucking a rice. You matter what.
But the thing is, Keith, you're exactly right. Keith, I'm totally agreeing.
He's a rocket. He's another Rolls Royce.
In terms of Keith, what you're saying about. It's not ideal, but it's an opportunist market, and we've banged on about that so much, and it's so true. Seany, I agree with you as well. I seem to be agreeing with patches of bits of everyone, but when you say that we're not going to spend big money, I get that, but there will be business done, lots of business. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean buying big. That just means possibly 3-4 deals out of nowhere. And some of them may be, as it seems, may be out of necessity. For example, Larouci not wanting to stick around, right? And Adam Lewis the decision already been made to send him out on loan. So we definitely need a left back, right? Degsy getting an offer that we couldn't refuse. 11 million for Degsy at his age, 4th choice centre back. We couldn't refuse it. Matip, 40 million, in my opinion, when Ben White is available, is an offer we can't or maybe shouldn't. Now, I agree. I don't think we will go for it. I think we will stay where we are with Matip. But if Matip wants to go, and if that offer comes in, you can't say no to that.
Oh, Seany's laughing at there. We're on 99 likes. We're on 99 likes. Someone else bang that like button there.
Just hit it for the round 100, and you're just gonna piss off. Then you won't ask you to do it again.
100 likes, and we get a Thiago update.
It's just it's just for me. It's not a precarious situation. I think that's the wrong word to use, but it is one where you're. I like. Listen, there's no doubt that Klopp, looking over the next, whatever it is, 4 years when he's at this club, he is probably going to be looking at a rebuild in the next 12 to 18 months. I would have said a year down the line from now, and possibly the January after, he'd be looking to replace a few, rebuild, and look to push on for the last 2 years that he's here. I just think Lovren going, okay, you can move Hoover in if you want it, but losing Matip as well.
Not ready.
No, but man, yeah, but you don't know, Grizz. You give him a little bit of time to play pre-season, wherever, and you get him more involved, like you did Curtis Jones, like you have with a couple of lads. But what I will say is, I know where the lads are coming from as well. If you're looking at 30 million from Matip, and you look at his injury record, and you look at what we have already, if you're telling me you can bring somebody in that's better than Joel Matip, I think it's possibly a really good move to make.
We need two centre backs though if you go because we need one with experience as well. Like you do. Like,
but they're looking at your man Mandy off Betis right now. Grizz is poo-pooing that, fair enough. But that's a 28-year-old centre back. I think he's Algerian. He's got experience. He could be a Clavan. You know, he could be a player just brought in as experience. And the Ben Boy, and you get the them probably for the price of let's say of a Matip. So then you get the bonus of the love
exactly that, Keith. I was just poo-pooing him as a player, not the link. I don't know nothing about the link. He's an absolute.
What a phrase!
He's absolute poo-poo of a player. But I get that's the kind of centre back we'd be looking alongside Ben White if we were to sell both of them. You're right, about a 28, 29-year-old, experienced centre back. Yeah.
Well, we'll see how it goes. 110 likes apparently, so here we go. PSG are acting the maggot apparently, and they've put together a £27 million package for Thiago Alcantara of Bayern Munich. Is there any smoke to this, Shawnee?
I don't know, Gav. I haven't got a clue, but looking at that midfield, I'd say there's probably a chance he would end up there. I don't know whether he bites on that though.
Yeah.
Apparently, we haven't bid or we haven't made contact with Bayern apparently regarding Thiago, and he's the one going around the dressing room saying he wants to play for Liverpool. So I guess his patience is going to be tested by us the same way Werner's was. So if he's willing to wait, then he's going to be a Liverpool player. But if not, and we do dilly-dally around, then it could be another one that slips through the net. I think.
Are you not just to Verratti, or is there rumours of Verratti moving on from PSG?
I think he only. I'm not sure. I think he might have only signed the contract, but I think they're playing with Sarabia and the Herrera in there at the moment, and Paredes. So they are kind of missing a Thiago type player.
And they have Everton fella Ghana as well, don't they?
Yeah, Thiago. I don't think whether Liverpool and PSG don't go in for him, I don't think he's going to be the type of player who's going to be stuck for offers anyway, because a player of his caliber, I'm sure he'll have somewhere to go, because even Juventus have a few pieces to move as well. I said they're trying to move on Rabiot, and who else? Pjanic is gone to Barcelona, although they did bring in Artur. They will be trying to bring in other players, you know what I mean?
Oh, they're talking about Ramsey on as well.
Yeah, Ramsey as well could be moving on. So, look, Thiago's not going to be short of us. The talk, apparently, it seems like he wants to come to play to Liverpool. With how Liverpool deal with things, I think his patience is going to be tested. So, if he's willing to hang forth, I think there's no reason why we shouldn't sign him.
The only thing I'd say, comparing it with the Werner thing, was Werner got burned by Bayern last year. He was told he was going to Bayern. He said his goodbyes to the Leipzig players, and then Bayern pulled the plug at the last minute. And I think that stung him a bit. And then the same thing was happening this summer, and then COVID happened. So I think he just got itchy bleeding feet and just wanted to get a move done. Thiago, what's his name? Honigstein was out there saying he's heard that Bayern are expecting the Liverpool bid. There has to be dialogue. They must be expecting a bid from Liverpool. I think
I think there's probably a little bit of respect going on between the clubs there, where you might have Thiago saying, and I don't know this, but for me, trying to read between the lines, Thiago is telling people, there's too many people saying it for not to be true. Thiago's probably telling people, I want to play for Liverpool. Liverpool have given Thiago a nod to say, yeah, we'll sort it out if you want to come to us, but we're not going near Bayern until your last game is played for Bayern, and whether that's next week against Chelsea or the big 24th of August or whatever.
The big telltale for me is for when Klopp was asked, he normally rubbishes the things and just said but he has been sort of coy around it. So it suggests to me that something is happening. Now look, Bayern still have to go and play Champions League, could go all the way. So and he was putting up things the other day. So maybe it is just a case of Liverpool saying, right, we're just gonna give you a grace and be decent about it, and when it's ready to go, it's ready to go.
Because they must be favourites for that Champions League as well.
So do you want the Thiago update now?
No. Well, we're sick talking about him.
We've had.
Go on, Grizz. Well,
now forget it. If Gav doesn't want it for his listeners,
I'm only messing with you. Give us your update, you moany cunt.
That's better. That's the spirit.
We're back. Business show.
Very similar to how. Do you remember how we were making bids left, right, and centre for Naby Keita, and no one had a clue, saying, "Oh, there's been no contact. There's no Naby Keita's." Who was the guy? Leipzig guy, Chief Sean
Ragnick.
Ralph
yeah.
something.
Ragnick,
yeah, saying there's been no contact. It's same as your man Rummenigge now saying there's no contact. There's nothing. There's been plenty of talks behind the scenes. Yeah. Naby Keita only wants us. When he says he wants to try something different, a fresh challenge, and he wants to go to a team that wants to that wants to win Champions League. He doesn't want to go to the French league. This guy's still got 3 years minimum at the top of his career. He doesn't want to spend that in France playing.
Do that after he does us.
Right afterwards. Naby, the situation with Thiago is there is not going to be nothing talked about and discussed until the Champions League campaign is over. Exactly how Naby Keita, at the same time, there was rumours of a Barcelona bid. Do you guys remember Barca coming in for Naby Keita?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It's just a bit of smoke. It's nothing. He wants Liverpool. Now, whether we, FSG, and we've hyped them up and we've given them the big build-up and we've given them all the plaudits that they rightly deserve. They rightly deserve every plaudit we've given them. Now, if Liverpool just do the thing that's normal in these situations and sort of, yes, there's a bit of bargaining to do and a bit of payment structure to sort out, Thiago will 100% be a Liverpool player. Only we can pull out. Now, the reasons we pulled out with Werner are totally different. With Thiago, it's totally different. Jurgen Klopp sees him as a game changer, and his bosses will not stop him, in my opinion.
Kev O'Sullivan made a great point there as well. Look,
just quickly, Maverick says, sorry, Grizz, but when Thiago signs for PSG, you're getting a bit of stick, and he gives you a wink. Kev O'Sullivan, let me find it for you. Is it that one, Shawnee?
Imagine me sign him and then something happens to him. Then you're bollocks, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look at Pedro in the cup final yesterday, signed for Roma. I know it's a pre-contract thing.
Done a shoulder.
Yeah. Stretching off.
That's an absolute superb point from Kev, though, because that is the level of intricacy, detail we work towards with FSG and Liverpool. Honest to God, that's how intricate we are with our research.
Mad,
and that's a fantastic point.
They've learned on the job the whole time, haven't they? With Van Dijk, that blew up in our face.
That was the
Fekir,
watershed moment.
And then Fekir as well. So they've we have experience now in these situations where they know now not to pull the trigger until the last minute. Now, I was saying earlier in the group, talking about FSG, I reckon we could have had that Werner deal done in January before COVID and all that stuff like that. But it's going to be mad, because we're still living in a world with COVID, whether we like it or not.
Yeah,
and
people seem to be forgetting about it.
Yeah, exactly. So, what happens if the winter month comes in again and January, March, we're back again and fans are out of the stadium again? If they're looking to blow 100 million on Sancho, it's going to look like a much bigger investment than it was.
Than it would have 6 months ago,
Exactly. So, people are saying, we've only missed out on 4 match days since COVID. Yeah, look, we're likely to miss they say October before fans are in grounds in England. So that's probably 5 or 6 games, 2 or 3 of them maybe at home. We just don't know how this landscape is going to pull out. And to go back to a point that Keith said earlier on, the furlough, I think the whole strategy of us not having money is coming down to that shout at the very start, trying to furlough the staff. It's just horrible PR. If you are now, although we didn't, there was a complete 180 on the furlough. If you're looking then to go into the transfer market and say, we're going big this year. Yeah, well, you are trying to give the fellas who are selling fucking hot dogs out of your job up to the government for them to pay for. It's long game. It's a complete long game with them, and they're just trying to protect themselves in the public eye more than anything else. Even the narrative has changed from not a big stomach to Klopp saying, "Oh, we'll just have to wait until fans will have to be patient." Like it's going to be late in the window before everything starts happening.
All the way through. You're spot on there.
Seb says, "How do we rubbish the Thiago to PSG rumours and then believe the Matip to PSG rumours? Double standards."
Fair it's point. All the sources, really, is it? But
a lot of football fans do like to agree with what suits them and disagree with others, and that's absolutely fine. I wouldn't rubbish any of those rumours because it's PSG and they can offer you mad fucking money, and you may have 3 years of a peak left, but they could give you a 5-year deal and you could be sitting on fucking £250,000 a week. So it is one of those. Maverick says that the Liverpool rebuild will be a pragmatic one, not a big bang unless Mane or Salah gets sold. I think that's I couldn't agree more with that, to be perfectly honest with you.
But we don't have to sell them, and that's the only reason Thiago really gets mentioned is in case Genie doesn't sign his contract or gets moved on this summer. All the other moves are all supplementing the squad and not a first 11.
I still think Genie stays even if Thiago signs. That's being honest with you. I don't think one dictates the other. Just to let everyone know, we are going to be sorting out our Predictor game, how it runs, how it starts, how you enter. We're going to be doing that in 4 or 5 minutes. If you want to get a pen and a piece of paper, it may help you. But listen, we will be calling out a little bit of information that you will need to take down. So making over on a phone or whatever else, just letting you know in the next 5 minutes. So before we finish up, we're an hour and 10 minutes in. We're going to get through this in the next 5 minutes. So Liverpool jersey was out. Head of media and public relations, Seany, came along and went, just give one of them away, lads. And I went, okay. So what we done was we looked at our subscribers. We went over 2,000. We want to get to 3,000. I think we're about 700 and odd short of 3,000. So this is where you people come in. What we're going to do is when we hit 3,000, we are just going to randomly pick 10 subscribers, and then we're going to have a very special way of deciding which of those 10 wins the jersey. Again, a bit like Danny Emery. You get the jersey, you'll get the World Club badges, the Champions League badges, or the Champions Titles badges. You will get a name and number on the back if you would like. Once we hit 3,000 subscribers, we are just going to randomly put all your names in, and we're going to pick out 10, and then we're going to have a very special way of choosing who wins out of them 10 people. So that's the first thing. The second thing is the Predictor game. So this is how it works. A listener of ours called Stuart Davis contacted us and said, I have an idea. I liked the LFC Day Trippers predictions that we all done. For the lads involved in the podcast done for last season. Can we spread it out a bit and include the viewers? So we all had a chat about it today, and we decided we could. Stuart has provided 50 questions for us or 50 topics to make predictions on, okay? Everyone can enter. Absolutely everyone can enter. And all you have to do is, we're going to call out 10 of them tonight, 10 next week, 10 the week after, 10 the week after that, and finally 10 the week after that. Over the next 5 Sundays, we're going to call out 10 things that you are going to predict on. To enter, very, very simple. We have an email address for you to go to. So it's predictor.ace@gmail.com. Okay? predictor.ace@gmail.com. I will stick that in the Discord group. We will do a tweet about it as well. But we're going to call out 10 things for you to predict tonight. What you do is, you get your 10 things, you put your predictions beside them, and you just send us an email, number them 1 to 10, with your answers beside it, and we will collate all them as we go. Send it to predictor.ace@gmail.com. Keith, do you have the first 10 questions? I do, if you don't.
Yeah, I can get them there, Gav. Hold on.
Okay.
Right.
So people will need to listen to these, take them down, or listen back to the show when it's finished, or listen to the download when it comes out. People that download the show, of course, just take a note of that email, and all you do is every week you just get your 10, you send them in to us, we put it under your name, all your predictions. There's no like, oh, well, I was the closest. You literally have an answer, and if you get that answer right, you score 1 point. There's a chance to win 50 points come the end of the season, and the winner, we are working on prizes. I will let you know that. Okay.
There'll be a 2020-21 Champions edition of the jersey, hopefully.
That'll be thrown in there somewhere, along with more stuff. We're not going with one prize. We're going to gather as many as we possibly can. So, Keith, go for it.
Yeah, so right, and before we do, they all have to be in before the first ball is kicked. So if your entry isn't in, after that it won't count. So there's no way.
Well, what we'll do is the league kicks off on September the 12th, isn't that right? Which will be a Saturday, I presume. So what we'll do
I'd say they'll probably have a Friday game, to be honest.
They may do. So
loads of them.
What we'll do is the Sunday beforehand, we will go 24 hours from the end of that show, and that will be our final prediction for the season. Okay, so go ahead, Keith.
Right. So question 1: how many clean sheets will Alisson keep in the Premier League next season? Will it be 16 or lower, or 17 and over? So either 16 and under or 17 and over. So that's the first one. How many goals will Naby Keita score in all competitions? 10 or less, or 11 or more? Name the LFC top scorer in the Premier League is number 3. Number 4 is how many assists will Trent get in the Premier League? Number 5, name the first scorer for Liverpool in the Premier League next season. Number 6 is name the last scorer for Liverpool in the Premier League next season. Number 7, how many defeats will Liverpool have in the Premier League? Number 8, who will have the most assists in the Premier League between Bobby, Mo, Trent, or Robbo? Number 9, how many trophies will Liverpool win? And number 10, how many starts in the Premier League will Curtis Jones get?
Okay, just on number 9, the Charity Shield doesn't count.
I would count it.
Would you?
But it's up to you. No, it's up to you.
I don't think it should count. It's a charity thing.
Yeah, well, we'll leave it out then. So we're just going for then the domestics and the European, the big.
Yeah. So that's the first 10. There will be 50 overall, 10 every week for the next 5 weeks. What I will do is we've set up a spot in the Discord called Predictor Ace. And what we'll do is we will stick those 10 questions in there for people. But if you watch this back or you listen to the download, you will get those 10 questions again. Okay. We're not going to go through Twitter and stuff like that and start putting it in there. We just end up with people asking all sorts of questions. So you take those 10 questions, you do your 10 predictions, or you hold them until you get to 50. It's up to you. But you have to send it to predictor.ace@gmail.com. And literally, you just give us your 10 predictions or your 50 predictions if you want to wait. And then you just give us your name and we'll collate the whole lot. Maverick asks, what's number 10? What if you call out number 10 again from please?
Number 10 is how many starts in the Premier League will Curtis Jones get?
Okay, so it's completely up to you people. You can send your email in this week to that address and we will collate it, or you can wait 5 weeks until the 50 and send all 50 at the same time. It's completely up to you. You're probably better off doing it every week though, to be honest with you, because it keeps you ticking over and remembering to do it. Okay, Grizz, are you looking forward to this?
Can't wait.
Yeah, do you think you have a chance?
Of course I've got a chance.
All right,
I'm a football man. Of course I've got a chance. All football men will have a chance in this. Football people, I should say.
Shawnee, I presume you're going to enter. Are you going to get all the license to enter?
Jesus, now if you haven't got a big enough email saver, I don't think.
I'll work on it. I'll spend.
Who's sorting out them emails? You want to be fucking hiring somebody? They won't be fucking me, I tell you.
I get one of the fields to do
what that gift doing.
But no, it's open. It's open to people that watch this. If there might be people out there that watch this and have sons or daughters that don't watch but love Liverpool. You can give them the question, let them answer. And when you send in your email, you can just put their predictions with their name, your predictions with their name, as many as you want. As many as you want. It's going to be a bit of a laugh. It's open to absolutely everybody, and we're going to try gather up as many prizes as we possibly can to give away come the end of the season. But as I said, we go on to Discord now. We will stick them in there, and your other option is to watch this back or listen back to the download and get your answers and send them, of course, to predictor.ace@gmail.com. Grizz, that's been a good show, hasn't it?
No, it's been a cracker.
Okay, sorry for calling you Moni, but
no, it's perfectly right to do so.
Okay, that's all right. Keith, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks a million.
Pleasure as always.
Good stuff. And head of all the stuff at the LFC Day Trippers, Seany. Thanks a million, Sean, and we'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Boys, make sure you subscribe and share it out, because these jerseys are like gold dust. And I tell you, if you have one, I wouldn't even wear that. I'd put it in a frame.
That's it.
And another thing, when we do get, as I said, when we get to 3K, we're picking 10 at random. Selecting the winner from them 10 involves me, a golf club, and a load of golf balls. That's all I'm going to
And he's not going to show up at your gaff pinging golf balls at the LC who wants us to draw first. Don't worry.
No, it's not like that. It'll all be done in a safe, secure, and social distance manner. But that's just the way it's going to go. That's been the Fatback 4. We're sorry for keeping you an hour and 20 minutes, but we had a lot to get through. When we thought at the start we weren't going to have anything on. That's always all right. That's all right. Be good. Over and out.